Okay, welcome back to another episode of Million Dollar Voices. Today I have Jay Iverson with me, who is also another brilliant Gen Zer. So he's only 19 years old, already wrote a book about crypto at the age of 16, which is amazing. And then he is a content creator right now. And then I would say he's an influencer because all the platform together is like 400,000 followers. So today we will talk a little bit about his experience, why he got into crypto, and then a lot of different questions, and then I'm excited. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invite. It's my first podcast ever, so definitely excited, and happy to share some stories about me, I guess.
Great. Then how about starting from tell us a little about you,
Okay, so yeah, I'm 19 years old, as you said. I'm from Germany, grew up in Stuttgart, Germany for the first 16 years of my life before I moved to Chicago, USA. And after about 1.5 years, I came back to Germany to finish my high school here. So I do have an education. I was actually, for quite some time, I was considering not finishing high school and just saying, frick it, I'm going all in on crypto or just social media in general. But I decided to finish high school, and that's what I did a month ago. So that's basically where I'm at right now. And yeah, I'm a crypto content creator, influencer, whatever you want to say. I try to educate people more than just making content around the topic. And yeah, it's what I've been doing for the past 3 to 4 years. I've grown a pretty nice audience, and we'll see where it goes.
Brilliant. And what did you study at school again?
I just went to high school. No like specific fields, it was just basic high school.
Wow, okay, brilliant. And okay, then how about your background?
So I grew up in a little village, like not in downtown Stuttgart, but a little village about 30 minutes away from it. I grew up in a very sports-focused household, which I'm very thankful for, because I think sports teaches you a lot about discipline. I don't think you can be like good at sports, become an athlete without having the discipline to get up every morning, go to the gym, or just keep doing whatever plan you have to practice every day. And I got a lot of inspiration from my parents because they're both pro athletes in triathlon, which is like swim, bike, and run. And you have to do a lot of practice to be good at that. So I think I'm very happy that got like passed on to me, I guess.
Yeah.
And I went to a pretty small basic high school, but I wouldn't say education or like school education was ever like the main focus for me. The thing with me is whatever I start, I always have the goal to become the best at it. So when it was triathlon or sports earlier, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go to school, I'll study, but I want to dedicate my time towards practice. And then it came to doing content or writing that book, and I was like, I'd rather spend more hours writing that book. It would be between school hours, I would just find a quiet room in school and keep writing on the book. Or if I had a break in school, I would just go onto the track and run for some time, just because for me, education in school was never the main focus. But whatever I would do next to school, basically.
What's the name of your book?
It's called Crypto Starter. It's in German, and it's basically just an introduction. If you want to start with crypto, don't just, you see the Shiba Inus, the Dogecoins on social media, don't just like put money in, you think you're going to make 100x. Educate yourself, how does it work, what is it? Because not only are you going to make smarter decisions, smarter investments, but you're also going to be able to save a lot of money, because you're going to know how you're going to get scammed, and you can, with the book, probably find a way around it.
And how your parents think about you are all in crypto and even wrote a book?
Honestly, I got them convinced on crypto.
After how many years?
It actually didn't take that long. It was at first, it was before I was like really educated. I would talk to them and be like, yo, there's this cool crypto thing. And myself, I was like, Bitcoin. And it would be like, you can make so much money. And they were like, yeah, I don't know. But then once I actually wrote the book, was educated, and I could like talk with them for hours. They were like, yeah, but why should I use it? And I could actually in-depth explain, okay, so we're trying to move away from trusting third parties like banks. And once they understand, okay, he's actually serious about this, he understands it, and he can actually tell us why there's a reason to use crypto. They were, at least mostly my dad was pretty convinced, and he actually bought some crypto himself.
No way.
Yeah.
So he created a wallet, and then he does everything by himself?
I helped him setting everything up so he doesn't blow all his money into something wrong or makes a mistake and he loses all the money. So yeah, we've set up a wallet at first, and now we've moved everything to a ledger. But no, he actually understands quite a lot about it.
And why do you think crypto, like why you got involved? Like what fascinates you the most,
Okay, so For this one, I'm gonna start a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Just because I feel like it's just right to tell the story so people understand why I'm in crypto. I don't know why it's so burnt in my head, but I always will remember this moment when I was 6 years old. We'd always have this like Christmas market in our village, and this one year I was like, I've seen these cool Christmas decoration where you put like lights and Christmas stuff on a piece of wood and you would sell it. And my sports team had a stand on this Christmas market, and I was like, let me help you guys and sell these things this year. We sold quite a lot, and I didn't know like was it going to go to the club, to me. And then 2 weeks later, I received a letter that was like, here's $200 for you just for helping us out and like selling so much. And I was like, damn, it feels good to make money. From there, I was just like so hooked on, okay, making money myself. It just felt so right. When I got older, at like 12, 13, I learned about stocks, trading stocks and all that stuff. And I was fascinated by how you can make...
How many years old again?
I was about 12, 13 years old.
Stock trading?
Yeah, and I like did a lot of research because I saw a YouTube video on stock trading. And then I downloaded this app where you could like do demo trading.
Which one?
I don't remember what it was called.
Okay.
It was a shitty app too. It wasn't good at all, but it was you could just take fake cash and invest it into stocks. And actually within weeks I was able to make it turned $5,000 into 10,000. But I was just like picking stocks that sounded interesting because I didn't understand anything about it back then. But I was oh my God, I can make so much money with this. And so when I was 14 years old, I started going into more research. I taught myself a little bit how to read a chart, like Fibonacci retracements, all these fancy terms we use in trading. I started trading a little bit of stocks at 14.
Yeah.
And then it was winter of 2019, one of my friends, shout out Moritz, he told me about Bitcoin. And until then, I would just find a word like whatever it would be, like short stop or whatever you talk about in trading. And I'd learn about it. I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. I understand it. Move on. Next word. Now with Bitcoin, I was like, damn, I can't grasp like what is crypto? What is a digital signature?
Yeah.
So me, Moritz, and another friend for just a year, we just put our heads down, did a lot of research, bought books, read them about Bitcoin, went to conferences, interviewed people. And once we actually understood how it worked, we were like, it was so hard to learn about this in German. There's not really a good source to learn about it. We had to learn so much in English. Yeah. There was false information in German. So we were like, there might be a gap in the market, and let's write a book together on crypto.
Holy
so the three of us for about a year and a half just kept grinding. Next, like during school, for me it would usually be because I had school and practice. So for me it would always be getting up at 2 a.m. and then researching and writing the book for like 2 a.m. to 4:30, going back to sleep for like another 2 hours before school started. And we did that for a year. Finished the book, published it on Amazon, and during all that research, I got so much more information why crypto is so amazing. And I just, since then, I never looked back because I'm so convinced by the concept of crypto.
Okay, if you can name 3 points, the advantages
of crypto?
Use, just only 3. Which 3 would you
Okay,
pick?
so the first one would just be, if we talk money-wise, like how quick and easy it is. If I was to make a bank transfer to my aunt that lives in the US. It takes about a week until they have all the stuff sent over because it has to go from bank to bank. They have to do the currency exchange, which I'm going to have to pay another couple dollars for. So they turn my euros into dollars, and then she receives it. It's a lot less money than I actually sent because of the fees, and it takes a week. With crypto, I can, maybe not with Bitcoin, but I can use some other currency. I'll send her $10. It's going to be $0.0001 fee. And it's in her wallet right away. I think that's a big advantage. But what's bigger for me is more the decentralization part, taking trust away from third parties like banks. Honestly, for the regular people like us, we don't really experience it that bad because we can trust our bank or to a certain amount. We can trust all these brands out there. But if you get to a certain point, what happened to Kanye West? He did some controversial stuff that can't be supported, but the banks and Adidas just said, okay, he did something wrong, freeze his account, and he doesn't have access to his money anymore. Which I think even if you do something wrong, if there's a contract and you're supposed to get that money, nobody can just take the liberty and take that money away from you. Yep. So with crypto, that couldn't happen anymore. And that's also why we see so much more crypto adoption in Africa, for example. Because for us, it's so easy to say, why do I need crypto? I trust my bank. They have an insurance for up to $100,000. For other countries like Africa, it's like they've been scammed so many times by their banks, they can't take their money out. So for them, I think it's a really big advantage to use crypto. And I think further down the road, once people wake up that our banking system is also just our banks taking our money, betting on something else, and they might not have the funds to pay us out once we want to. I think once we progress in that kind of stuff, more people will also start using crypto.
Yeah, I think that I also read some news about some poor woman in an abusive relationship with their husband, but they also don't have the financial independency. So they kind of earn money secretly with earning in crypto, right? And then they got enough money and then they escape. And they, this happened in undeveloped countries as well. Yeah,
because if you do it with banks, whoever is abusing you can just check your bank account and take that money from you. But with crypto, you can basically bank yourself and govern yourself. And yeah, that's a pretty good example of why it has a pretty good use case.
So when people tell you like crypto is a scam, crypto is a Ponzi scheme, like, just for like drug or like whatever, what's your argument? I have a good argument. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear yours. For me, it's like on the first side, I actually always have to tell them I agree with you. Of course, I am in it for not the drug side, not the scam side. But if we are honest, 50 or even 60, or I don't know how many % of the crypto space are honestly Ponzi schemes or scams that release 1% of the token, and then once people buy it, just dump it on you again. So I do get why people are frustrated and believe it's all a scam. And obviously for mainstream media, calling out these projects that do that kind of stuff makes for way bigger headlines and more views, which is what they want. But if you actually dig down deeper and talk about examples like what we talked about with people that are in abusive stuff or not in a great position like we are in Western worlds, then I think you realize the potential of crypto. And for me, crypto and like the blockchain in general is so much bigger than just money exchange and scams. Like blockchain just means you can ensure something. Let's say a voting. For example, of course we trust them, but for example, when they elect the US president, how can you actually know that your account has been voted?
Right.
Like there's no, obviously we're like, they're counting it, it's independent people doing that, but we don't know that it's actually been passed through our vote and somebody has checked it, okay, he's been voting for this guy. Now if we have the blockchain and we vote on there, you can just after see, okay, vote has been counted. So there's a lot of use cases that go a lot deeper than just sending money and scamming someone. But what's your argument against those people talking about scams?
A lot of people also use cash to do bad things, right? Before crypto was cash, people just say, fly the cash in the plane and then, in Brazil, in somewhere in the middle of the Amazon and then cut down the trees, put cocaine. That is how they do it as well. So, cash also have the same problem, right? And I think in the end of the day, is the people who are using it, what's incentive and the motive,
Yeah, 100%.
So, great. Then talking deeper about your experience and everything, how do you do due diligence on projects? Like you do a lot of research on a lot of things. So how normally you do it and how to do it in a short period of time as well, because I know you're Gen Zer. A lot of information, just like if it doesn't catch your eyes, in 5 seconds, you just scroll through. So how do you do it?
When I do due diligence about a project that I just found out or heard about, for me, the first step is always checking the team. Okay, who's behind it? What experience do they have? Or first of all, are they even docs? Because there's still probably about 80% of cryptocurrency projects. And you go on their website and you check, okay, team. It doesn't even say, okay, this guy, they've worked there before. But it's just like emojis or avatars, putting names under there. But if the guy that has invented this project has not actually put his identity on the line, it's so easy for him to just scam you and he will never have consequences for it. So that's definitely the first thing you have to do. And then the second thing before researching is always checking the use case or what layer it is. Because if you check a layer 1, which is like Ethereum, Cardano, Bitcoin, those are basically coins that want to build an ecosystem. And if you check layer 0 coins, which are some that want to make blockchains be interoperable and they can communicate with each other, there's different aspects that are more important then. And once you know that, third thing I do is check the investors. For example, when I was researching Aptos, I found out the first round of investors, part of it was FTX. So that's initially a red flag. And then obviously you have to go deeper and check, like, is it just an investment that has been paid off, or are they still connected and they might need funds that FTX is holding back? Checking for who invested and the VCs behind it is actually could also be a good thing, because what I've realized, if there's a project that has raised a lot of money from a lot of VCs, it might not have the greatest tech, but it's almost sure to blow up in the next bull run.
Yeah.
Because if there's enough VCs behind it, they're never going to let the project just die out. If the project becomes boring, nobody cares about it anymore, they're going to be like, let's use some of our funds, fake pump it for 10% in the market, and then everybody out there is like, oh my God, there's so many exciting things with this coin again. And then we start buying in again, the regular people. So when there's a lot of VCs behind the project, they usually have the funds to make sure this project goes up a lot, and then they can basically dump their tokens so they make a profit off of it. But what's probably the most important thing is tokenomics. Checking the details, how many tokens is there. The most important thing is actually comparing like the circulating supply to the max supply. How many tokens are there right now? How many in total will there be one day? Because it's all about inflation. If there's a project that has 5 million coins right now, and it's going to be 100 million in 2 years, then even if there's a lot of people buying it, the price is still going to go down, because it's a buyers and sellers market. So if the team dumps new tokens onto the market every week, you also need somebody who buys it every week. So tokenomics is pretty important. And then once you've checked that, the last thing I do, where I get like, am I going to buy it now? Am I going to wait some longer? Is check at what prices these VCs got in. For example, with Aptos, I could look up, Binance was investing in the pre-sale for a price of $4 per Aptos token. And now in the bear market, we can see it climbing closer and closer to $4. So I told my community last year, buy under $4 so you get the same price as Binance, which is usually a steal. And then that's basically the bottom we had. And since then, it has gone up pretty good. So that's pretty much my due diligence process.
Amazing. Okay, one thing I forgot to say, it's not financial advice, okay, everybody?
Yeah, don't sue me, please.
Exactly. And how long does it take normally for you to go through all the process?
It usually takes about 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Just 20 minutes to see if a project is legitimate, or if it's not, because there's a lot of first level mistakes. You can see, okay, unprofessional website, no docs team, or like bad tokenomics, and you can immediately be like, okay, I'm done with this. But if you want to go like deeper to know how good is it, it takes hours for sure, because you have to, for example, you have to open the white paper, and what I usually look for is if there's VCs that invest, okay, how much, at what price did they get in, but also what's the vesting schedule. Is it a contract where all the investors can have all their tokens after 2 months, so they can immediately sell? Or it's like for Aptos, which is pretty good, that all investors will unlock all of their money only after 48 months. So you know they're long-term investors. So if you want to do all these like little details to find out how good is it actually, then you have to dig a lot deeper. And it's kind of sad to say, but honestly, today we're still in a market where marketing is a lot more important than tech. Right, totally. So there's, in my opinion, like Cardano, for example, for me has one of the best tech there is out there. But as Charles Hoskinson, the founder, says, we do not care about the price of our token. That's a little frustrating for investors, of course. But that's a great example to see. There's Solana, which invests millions every month into paying influencers, making marketing campaigns. On the other hand, you see they have so many hacks on their blockchain. They have outages. So on the fundamentals, they're not a good blockchain. They're not a good project. But because they do marketing, more people buy, they have a great increase in price. And that's why you always, if you want to invest long-term, which I do, I think about who is going to be around in 10 years because they have great technology. But honestly, if you're just in the market to make money and get out of it again, look for projects that have great marketing. You don't even need to look into the tech. It's kind of sad, but that's honestly the where we are today. Yeah, from an investment point of view, right?
I mean, I do like Cardano because they do a lot of R&D and also do a lot of good projects to help the world
Yeah.
to become
Yeah, they're big in
place.
Africa too.
Right? They plant trees and then they help minorities and stuff. I really like their philosophy. So yeah, good shout out. But do you normally flip? Are you a flipper or are you like, you say you're a long-term investor already, but like...
I mean, so I have my portfolio, like my 80% of the portfolio, which I just invest in. Most of them are like for 5 years plus.
Yeah.
So I want to stay in those projects and really like wait until they develop and everything because I believe in those long term. There's a couple of ones where I'm in for, I always say stay in longer than a year. Also just for taxes because then they're tax free after a year.
In Germany?
In Germany, yeah.
In US? How about
I actually don't know in the US because while I was there, I still only had to do everything in Germany because my company is based out of Germany. So, but in the US, I remember it was the same, but I don't know if they have made any recent updates about that. And then earlier on, I had my Degen portfolio where I would like invest into these small ass projects that could possibly 100x or not. But some of them have burnt me, some of them have scammed me. With some of them, I had like a 80x.
Yeah.
But I couldn't sell it because the liquidity was so low because PancakeSwap would have some problems so I'm done with like super short-term stuff like meme coins and all that stuff. But yeah, most of it's just like between 1 and 5 years.
So did you buy Pepe or not?
Hell no. Hell no. I haven't and I would never will.
Okay, then since we're talking about like gain and loss, what's your highest and lowest return investment?
Lowest, probably Cardano too.
Oh.
I mean, obviously the meme coins, they just like went to zero.
Yeah.
But like for legit coins, it's definitely Cardano.
Yeah.
But not even because I invested at the wrong point. I was doing a partnership with a project that is on Cardano. And they paid me for our partnership in Cardano tokens.
Okay.
And that was when they were worth $3. And I was like, it's not an investment from my side. It's just a payment I get. So I might as well just hold Cardano instead of like selling them for US dollars or something.
Yeah.
But then now where we're looking at a 25-cent Cardano, the maybe $1,000 I got back then are now like $80. So that's a really bad investment. For the best one, it's probably Axie Infinity.
Okay.
Because I realized the trend going to metaverses pretty early on. It was still dumb though. I invested just a bit into Axie.
Yeah.
And I made like a 25x.
Oh,
so I think I sold it for like $600.
Okay.
Which were like just a small amount of dollars. Or no, it was actually over $1,000 that I made, I think. But the problem was that it went on so much more. I think at the highest point I could have sold, my investment was like 20 grand or something.
You missed it.
So yeah, that's a lesson I learned. I was like, from this point on, take your profits, but leave a little bit in just in case it has this like explosive run up. That's always possible with these coins.
Yeah, I totally agree.
How about you? Have you had any like crazy profitable investments?
No, I don't do like trading actually at all. So I just build.
Gotcha.
Things. But yeah, I just hold Bitcoins and Ethereum. That's it. What else? Right? As a beginner, I would say I'm not knowledgeable in terms of trading.
Okay.
As much as you. So I think it's really impressive that you're only 19 years old and then have so much knowledge, especially like I think it's very early on how you did your own research, because I think back then was like didn't have a lot of resources, right? Were there or not? In English, yes or no?
Yeah, in English it was decent, but I mean, honestly, for me being back then like 16 years old, it was before I moved to the US and everything. So even in English, it was kind of hard for me to learn.
Yeah.
But the resources in English were a lot better than in German back then.
Like I would still say nowadays the resources is still limited. So what kind of resources you take nowadays to learn, improve your skills on Twitter or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I use YouTube a lot. It's more about finding the right people. Because it takes a lot of time and seeing those people may have successes, have failures, to like learn, do they have the right intentions when they want to teach you? Do they have the right knowledge? So you do have to find the right people to teach you, because some people also just spread false information, especially on X or like Twitter. There's so many people that are just hyping everything up, and you think you're learning from them, or like they're calling out the next big thing, but they're just doing it for their own profit. And also, mainstream media is still a great place to like find out about news and everything. The only thing is you just have to learn how to read mainstream media, because if you just read it word by word and you believe everything, you're gonna be distracted, or they're just talking about what gets the most views.
Yeah.
So whenever they talk about something, you really have to try to read between the lines. That's more important.
Yeah, I think so too. But like also when it's already out to the news, it's already probably too late.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Normally, right?
It depends like what it's about. If it's about something crazy happening and it's already everywhere in the news, then it's definitely too late. And in general, there's a saying in trading that's like, never buy a green candle, meaning like never go into a trade after it's already like done
yes.
quite some good gains.
Exactly.
The most important thing as a beginner too, you have to learn is not to fall for FOMO every time. Because it goes up a little bit, you're like, oh my God, I have to get in before the big pump comes, and then you're gonna get wrecked. It's just try to separate your emotions from trading, which sounds a lot easier than it is, but that is the goal, to become a successful trader.
Do you think you are kind of like that, like separate emotion with a?
I feel like I've learned to become like that, because honestly, I'm still not close to perfect at it all. When I go into a trade, or even if we talk about Cardano, I'm still like, even if they did do something wrong today, for me, it's still like such an emotional attachment. I'm like, oh, they do such good things in Africa and they care about tech more than money, but you should be emotionally detached. So I should be like, Cardano has no marketing. They're not making gains. Why should I invest in Cardano? So it's like, I'm still in that process of learning to detach myself, but it is a hard process.
Yeah, totally. And then are you normally investing in coins or projects? I see a lot of coins you're talking about. What kind of projects or like coins will catch your eyes for the first, first 10 seconds?
Honestly, what I like to do when looking for new coins or something that catches my attention is look for ICOs, because most of the stuff that's already out there is either like irrelevant or you've already missed it. So what I would do is there's a great Twitter page called ICO Analytics, and they post what projects have raised how much money from which investor. So if I see a project raising a lot of money in a bear market, that's always a great sign, because they're still building in the bear market. You can also check their GitHub updates, how much is happening there, how many developers are on there, and they raise a lot of money even in financial times where we're not looking for quick gains. Then that's definitely something great. Or what I also like to do is copy successful people. You can either go on the blockchain, check a wallet that has been like, for example, you could go the crazy way. You can check like the first 100 investors in Pepecoin. Because you're like, maybe they know some stuff we don't know. But then you can just use their wallet and you see, okay, two weeks ago they also invested in Satana, Inu, Elon, whatever. And then maybe that's a way for you to find the next big gainer. Or you just check, like, for example, what I like is Animoca Brands.
Animoca, yeah.
They're like one of the biggest and best investors when it comes to metaverses and Web3. So I would see on ICO Analytics, okay, they invested into this new project. So I'd be like, it's a good sign for me. I'll check it out as well.
Yeah, and Animoca actually gives also quite a lot of supports in their portfolio too.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, at least what I see.
Okay.
So I think it's pretty cool one, yeah. How about your future? Right now you finish your study. What about next, I want to say 5 years, but let's start from 1 year. I just have future plan.
Yeah, long term is still pretty hard for me. For the next year, I've pretty much decided that I'm gonna go full in on social media. I want to keep doing my like crypto education, just because it's brought me so many connections, people from the community that come up to me and like even show me new stuff, show me new tech that I haven't known about. So I think it's a great way to have more input and just have an audience you can talk to. That's a thing I really like. But there's also a lot of different social media stuff I'm basically dipping my feet in, because for me it seems like a day and age right now where there's so much possibilities on social media.
Right.
I'm not sure. Do you know Mr. Pote?
No.
So it's funny. He's a TikToker.
Yeah.
And all he does is he buys like glass bottles and he basically just pushes him down his stairs.
Yeah.
And at some point they break, and it makes like a big splash. And it sounds stupid, but the thing is, this guy has made $600,000 with 17 videos.
Wow.
Just because it's like so, like the people love to watch him because it's like so satisfying when they like the bottles pop. And TikTok has this new creative program, which is unfortunately only in France, Brazil, and the US, where videos more than a minute will get paid like more than YouTube videos that are over 10 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like a CPM of $1.2, which means like over $1 per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
And this guy made 17 videos, and no coincidence, every video is a minute and 1 second long.
Yeah.
And so he makes money with every video, and he's made over $600,000. So there's so many like stupid or like random ideas that can make you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to like just try everything out and see if something works, because I'm just trying everything to raise like my first good amount of money. So I can start not doing things for the money, but have like my income and do just what I'm passionate about. I'm still considering once I can afford it, like going to university in the USA. It's always been a big goal of mine, but it would be dumb right now to like use my last money just to afford that, because I'd more go there for like networking and the college life than like actual education. Yeah. Because I don't really believe in like education, our school system with unis and everything.
But why?
I just think there's so many better sources to educate yourself than going to uni and listening to some. If you do business major, I have a lot of friends in the US that do business major. I talk to them. They're listening to a professor talking about economics and business stuff that has never had his own business, that has never accomplished anything great. So I don't know why I should listen to him instead of having, for example, the best CEOs in the world go on podcasts like this and basically give you the blueprint how everything works. Or Harvard, the best university considered in the world, has all of their courses, readings online. You can just literally check them out for free. So I don't believe in actually going there in the US, especially where you have to pay like $20,000 per semester.
It's a lot, yeah.
So I do think the college life is amazing for making connections, having a network that later on in your life are going to help you a lot. Yeah. But going there for the sole purpose of becoming smarter through it, I don't think is the right intentions to go there.
Yeah, I do have one sad story though. So I was a nerd, and I'm still a nerd, you know, like I'm Asian, obviously. But, you know, when I was in college, like freshman year, and I was in my advanced finance class, my professor said Bitcoin is a scam. And then I was just like, okay, Bitcoin is a scam. And then that delayed my crypto investment for 10 years, which, you know, Bitcoin just got out. I mean,
you could have,
right?
$5 investment would have probably been like $500,000 today or something.
Yeah, I should skip that class. I mean, I should have.
I know, yeah. No, because that's what I talked about with mainstream media earlier. These days, we see an article or we see someone on the internet talking about something. And because we're always on our phones, we always need dopamine and everything. We just started believing everything. You know, like we don't really question it. We don't do the research to like verify something is true. So that's the same way I feel about college. These professors, while in general, obviously they're gonna teach you good stuff about economics, but stuff like that, if they tell you something like this guy has done it for a long time, he's my professor, he knows. But if you would have made up your own mind, you would be like, I'm gonna just put some money in there. Might have been better.
Right. Yeah, hard lesson learned, I have to say, for me. But how about entrepreneurship? Would you consider to be a, entrepreneur at some point?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah. In general, I like the idea of... It always sounds arrogant when I say it, but the idea of working for someone just doesn't sound like something that can make me happy in life.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why. It starts in like freaking elementary school. We do a group project, and I have this amazing idea, but somebody in the project or we as a collective group, we decide we're gonna do something else. I would get so pissed off. I'm like, no, this is the best way. We have to do it this way. And for me, there's nothing like more satisfying than having an idea, building the right team around it, and seeing it come to fruition one day. Yeah. So for me, definitely the move in my life is going to be having some kind of, it doesn't matter if it's a company or some kind of ideas that I want to, as an entrepreneur, bring to life.
Yeah, like passive income and then financial freedom, timely freedom, right? So I think one of the reasons I got into entrepreneurship also because I was in the corporate life as well, and I really didn't like it because most of the time you invest your time in managing relationship with others, not actually working. That idea I don't like, you know.
Okay.
So I mean, of course, interaction is important. Keeping good relationship is important, but politics, just like I don't like it. When I'm building a company, I wanted to make sure we don't have that, right? You just happy environment and then open sharing or whatever. But like, I totally can feel you.
I even had a entrepreneurship class in the US when I was there in high school.
How was that?
That's another thing that's so amazing over there. It's like in Germany, you don't really get to pick a lot of stuff you do in school. You just like, you have your math, your English, your biology, etc. While in the US, you get to pick a lot of stuff. Like I was in a entrepreneurship class. I was in a social media class where they teach you how to like design stuff, how to post things and all that stuff. And that entrepreneurship class was amazing. It's basically you and the class. At first, you can apply for a job in that company because you're going to create a company. And then all together, you're going to decide what product you're going to make. And then you go around the school like selling fake stocks. Like,
no way.
It's amazing. And it was funny. Because I was at the American school for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then that class started and I was like, I want to be project manager. Like I want to be up top. So it was me and this girl, Tess, who's one of my best friends today.
Yeah.
It was just me and her going up for the job.
Yeah.
She's so nice. She was talking about how she was taking care of like disabled children in her free time and everything. And she was working for charity, doing babysitting. And I was just like, I was a new guy from Germany. I went up there. I was like, I know you guys don't trust German leaders, but I was like, give me a shot. I've been doing my social media stuff. I wrote a book, like, trust me, if we do this together, we can make something amazing work. Yeah. And luckily with like 2 votes, I think I got the job. Which was amazing. But it's 3 months of time. And we came up with the idea of like personalized bottles.
Yeah.
So we get like these premium bottles. We buy a printer where we like could get logos on it, and then we'd have our supply chain. And I'd just be the project manager, like overlooking, having new ideas.
Yeah.
And we made over like 10K in those 2 months.
No.
Like breaking every school record, which was crazy. God. And like since then, I'm like so hyped about entrepreneurship and like growing a company. So that's like. That really like fueled the spirit in me. Yeah,
so that was turning point.
Oh yeah, that was like, it was not a turning point, but it was like an assurance point. I was like, okay, I've been like debating, should I do it, should I not? Okay, we're doing it.
Oh my God, it's so crazy. And like, to be honest, I think with your generation, okay, so I am almost Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, if I was born in...
I actually don't know where they like
96.
Gen Z, Gen Y. 96 is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So which year you were born?
2004.
Oh, MG, I cannot, I feel old. But like, you can learn so much things just from the internet. I think that's really amazing. And then the pace is so quick.
Yeah.
And then another reason why I love to interview your generation is because I think all the mainstream medias are putting a wrong projection on this generation, because when I'm a millennial. So when I was younger, they always say the Forbes or like Bloomberg, they say, hey, it's a failure, you know, they're just failure. Yeah. And then I see right now they are doing the same thing to the youngest generation, which you will be the youngest workforce right now, right?
Yeah.
In the market. So how do you think about those opinions or feedbacks or?
I mean, it's always, I feel like the one thing I always say is, hate comes from below. So I don't think anyone who's hating on someone is really like, I don't know how to say it, like confident with themselves.
Yeah, insecurity.
Because what I always think about, like me right now, if people text me that have like 200 subscribers, they're like, yeah, can you get some tips or like what they're doing? I would never hate on them. I'm like, I've been there too. Like, make your way. It's always the people that are like even worse than you that are like, yeah, you're doing whatever, it's wrong.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the generations, I honestly understand it because first of all, this like everything becoming quicker and like you need dopamine. You can't just like sit without your phone for an hour.
Yeah.
Like that does hurt our generation. You can tell that like even like people not wanting to work is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like in our generation, there's been a statistic about how many people are unemployed, which is not like that much crazier than from your generation, for example.
Yeah.
But the ratio from how many people are unemployed to how many people that are unemployed are looking for a job is totally different. Most of the people that are unemployed are not even looking for a job.
What's
like
the reason?
because it's so like we get so comfortable these days. Like people are just like we're in the Western countries. There's no wars going on. We're living such a good life. We can be under mama's house. There's no need for a job for some people, and they're just getting too comfortable. To me, it always feels like the work ethic that the regular person had 30 years ago. If you had that today in my age, you're like in the top 10%. Because people in my age really they really don't want to work.
Really?
It's like on one side like the statistics, but also just like from personal experience, like nobody wants to go in the trades like working construction.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And then on the internet you see all these ads from people my age that like drive around in Lamborghinis that are like, I do day trading and I make so much money. And all the kids are like getting convinced that they could do that too. So they're shying away from doing a regular job, which is what our economy is based upon. But it's just like, because the internet is showing you so many untraditional ways to make a lot of money, like whenever you're working a regular job, all the kids feel like I could be making so much more money doing something so much more similar. So yeah, I do understand that they're saying our generation's a failure. But you also have to say that with the internet and everything moving quicker, if you figure it out, and there's a lot of people doing it, how to use the internet the right way, I think those select few people are then gonna have a really big impact on the future.
What would you give what kind of advice would you give to your like younger Gen Z or like even Generation Alpha is upcoming?
Oh yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah, like the next one is coming. You are getting old too, you know.
I've never understood those like Gen whatever.
Yeah,
because like for me it doesn't make sense to do a cut in like 1 year. For me, I always get like, okay, I always say like generation, because for me it's like my generation, the next generation would be like my mom, and the one after it's like my grandma, and then the next one is like the one below me, like my kids. But like setting an exact year for like your generation you're born 2 months after, okay, you're a different one, just doesn't make sense to me. But
But actually I Googled it, Wikipedia.
Okay.
I think because the generation is getting shorter and shorter, right now it's around like 10 years and then it's going to be shorter as well because technology enabled. So basically you grew up basic internet, right?
Yeah.
And you have ChatGPT, and a younger Gen Z, they grew up with ChatGPT. You can consider that.
Yeah.
I grew up with Windows XP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is one of the reason why they cut the line. But does it make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But what kind of advice would you give?
Oh, that's a tough one because
then they might live in the metaverse.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, because honestly, I'm glad I'm my generation, not later. Because I love technology and what comes with it. Because like crypto or like other techs with the blockchain that are making our world a lot simpler, a lot better. But I feel like we're also moving to technology right now that I don't think is an improvement anymore. For example, the metaverse. There's a lot of great applications we can do with it. But I think moving everything online, like we've had Zuckerberg pitch something about where you're basically working from home. And you're not even yourself in the metaverse. You have your character, and you have a VR glasses or AR glasses to like talk to other people. Like you're gonna have your meetings in the metaverse. And while this is more efficient, I don't want to live in a world where we're all sitting at home with VR glasses talking to each other. I think we should keep like the human connections, talking to each other, interactions. Like I don't want to live in a world where everything is online and we try to avoid everybody in real life. And what's even crazier to me is Neuralink by Elon Musk. Like the little chip he wants to put in your brain so you can connect to the internet. which I get he's using it to solve a lot of medical problems, which is great. But if you think about it, you can use that in the worst forms. If you can connect your brain to the internet, you can download any language. So right now I could basically say, okay, I can talk German, but with Neuralink I can access every language in the world. I could talk Chinese, I could talk Russian right now. So every single thing that makes us unique is going to be gone. We're all connected to the internet. We all have the same information. So I don't know where does it stop? Where does it lead us to? Because if we can all talk every language, if we can, like, why is there a reason for me to travel anymore if we're all the same people basically? I just feel a little bit scared for the next generations for what's coming. But if I can give you tips, it's basically research Web3, research AI. AI is also going to make tons of millionaires. There's so many possibilities to profit off of that. But also try to train yourself not to fall victim to this like everything moving quicker generation. Like don't just all day use Instagram and TikTok and just scroll because that really does damage your brain. Because I've realized that if I do it too much, and then I just sit around talking to somebody, I get bored. And like, in what world do we live in where talking to somebody like is boring to you? So yeah, just like try to train yourself not to
fall into trap.
Fall into the trap that is just being portrayed.
Yeah, interesting. Finally, I think we got to know each other in Hamburg, Blockchain's conference. I don't know if you guys know about that. Pretty cool one. And I initially approached you because we have a project it's not a project, but company in the area of sustainability, protecting Amazon rainforest. And you were actually like really interested in the nature, the idea itself. And how do you think about our environment and also climate change? Because I know like we live in Europe, the mindset is pretty strong. But when I was in the US, I used to live there as well. And also I do business trip there a lot. I can see the consciousness is not as high as we in Europe. So what's your opinion on that? And then how do you feel about nature?
Yeah, so if it's fine, I'll share it with a story as well.
Yeah, sure.
So there's this awesome, super nice little village in South France where me and my family go since I'm pretty much like 1 year old. Like every year, we know there's 2 weeks in summer where we go to this small village and we go on this camping site. And it used to be amazing. There's this little lake and you could go there with your camper, set up tent. And every year we go there, more of the like campground have been turned into like mobile homes. Then we come back the next year and next to the lake, there's a huge concrete block. That's a new restaurant, a new bar. And then we go biking there and on some hill you see a new concrete block that's like a factory of some big brand. And it's destroying nature first of all, which it used to be so like idyllic. You could just bike through there, you have the forest, you could watch the lake. And it becomes like you got all these sounds from the fabric, you can just see a concrete block in there. And I get that nature and all us humans too, we evolve, we progress. Something will change every year, but what really pisses me off is that it's always revenue driven. Like they're not making mobile homes so more people can come there and enjoy the lake. They're making more mobile homes because they cost more. People are paying for it. They make more money. It's not the farmers, the people there expanding their like farm, making it bigger, making more, I don't know, cattle or making more corn. It's some huge company setting up shop so they can make more money. And that's why I like the project so much, because what you guys are doing is buying like land in the rainforest so it doesn't get bought up by corporations. And that's something I like that message behind there, because I feel like people have woken up to that our population will just keep growing and growing. So the land we live on is getting more expensive or like more rare and rare every year. So for investors, our land is becoming something they want to invest in. And I hate that, because at the end of the day, those who have more money will be able to buy the land more than myself, for example, who doesn't have that money. So that really pisses me off. If we look at Hawaii, they just had this huge wildfire. And literally the day after this wildfire happened, there's been over 100 reports of the Bezoses, the huge people in the world, offering the people that's house just burned down a super disrespectful amount of money just to buy their house that just burned down.
No way.
Like, think about it. Like, in Hawaii, of course, there's some people trying to help, like, rebuild, help those out. But the world really just cares about, hey, I have money, I want to buy the land you're living on. And yeah, for me, it's just like, nature should be protected as it is, because we have these different countries that are unique, that there's a reason for me. I want to travel there to see how the culture is there, how the nature is there. But with globalization, which is the thing I hate, big corporations are buying everything, trying to make it look the same way, and just destroy nature. And that's why nature for me is a really important thing.
Yeah, so crazy, because I think also in my neighborhood in Taiwan, so I grew up in Taiwan, and then I think my dad told me the apartment we are living right now used to be forest as well, because we are tropical kind of climate, right? So we also have rainforest, and my dad literally just also, when he was a kid, he swam in the river next to it, and then like, I don't know, just running in the forest, and then treehouse. I never seen a treehouse in my life.
Right?
Have you?
No, I mean, not in nature. We have a pretty backyard in Stuttgart where I live.
Yeah.
And when I was young, me and like my grandpa and my dad and all, we like built one together.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. But in like, yeah, as you said, in like an actual forest or something, you're not gonna see it anymore.
Right.
You see more of them getting taken down because they're rebuilding something than like people actually setting up something like that.
I think what's crazy is that I read like every second there are like 118 trees are being cut down in Amazon, and then that's crazy. You cannot grow 118 trees in 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, they are there for like thousands of years. Dinosaurs used to live there too, probably. You know, so but yeah. Anyhow, me as like millennial, and you are like even younger than me. I hope we get to have a livable environment in the future. I don't know if you want to have kids or whatever. But
No, I'm not sure yet. But if I do want some, I definitely want them to grow up in cities that still have at least like Munich, a green area or something. Because even here, or in the village I grew up, pretty much every like green space, every year there's like a couple more of these spots being like, okay, we're gonna sell these, you can build there now.
Yeah.
And like it's just getting more and more every year, and I don't want my kids to grow up in a city where it's just like house on house instead of having a park or something like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to miss it.
Yeah, at least you are sending out the message. I think you are already making good contribution, because you do have a big audience base, and I do hope that you use your audience base to like kind of spread the message, because I know you have huge audience also probably in the US, because everything's in English, right? So the US audience is actually they're harder to convince of that than Europe, because there's a lot of people also just like Trump, like climate change doesn't exist. Denial.
There's a lot of people thinking that. But climate change is a hard one for me, because I know it exists and how bad it is. I just like, for me it's really hard, because I normally always, my take is everybody start with your own. So like it's so hard to be like, okay, the pollution that like one cruise or one plane does is the same amount that, I don't know, a state in the US does, like the people there do in 1 year. So it's like, okay, if we just have less planes in the world, then we've already done so much more than if all of us like stopped doing this or stopped driving a car. But we also can't just keep demanding those big corporations to stop using electricity, to stop polluting. I think at the end of the day, we just all need to start in front of our own door, drive less, take a little bit less power. And then once we see, okay, the general population is making progress, then we can request, okay, it can't be okay for us to stop using our car, but then these corporations are flying 15 planes a day just to do their distribution, and they take up more power than all of us humans combined, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, small changes do make huge difference, which I believe, and then change just one single mind every day. You know, probably today, whoever is listening, I don't know, but like maybe 1 month is changed, then 365 days is 365 people, you know?
Yeah.
So I do think it's really powerful. But yeah, thank you for everything. And I think we are approaching to the end. Some quick Q&A, which might be fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
Are you down for it?
Yeah.
Okay, might be tricky, okay? Okay, so first one, what's your biggest failure?
My biggest failure?
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Honestly, I wouldn't say there's like one biggest failure I had. What like in my mind, what I think is my biggest failure would probably be a lot of failures combined. Because I've done, like growing up, I've done so many different sports, so many different like business ideas. And it's always fun or like cool to do the first 30% of it because you can see the changes every day. You do something, you get better. Like in practice, you get more fit. But then once you reach a certain level, you have to do a lot of training, a lot of practice just to get a little bit better. And once the hard part comes, a lot of times in the past, I would stop and start something new where I could do the first 30% again. And I feel like right now with the content creation, the book, like I've done this for years now and I'm happy I kept doing it. But earlier on, there's a lot of stuff I started and then I quit because I thought it was too hard. And I would rather have pushed through.
Okay. Second one, no, it's not a second, follow-up question. Did you learn anything from this experience?
Yeah, honestly, just if you really want something and you believe in it, push through the hard times, just keep going. Interesting.
Okay, second one, if you could be remembered for only one thing, what would that be?
Probably good energy. Like I don't really care how big my business grows, how many successes I have. I would just like the people that are around me to, when I'm gone, say like, okay, he's always like brought good energy. He's made some people happy.
Yeah, brilliant. And what's the best compliment you have ever gotten?
Honestly, for me, the biggest compliment is just like talking good on my name when I'm not in the room. Like if I'm not around and you're still talking good on me, that really like shows me respect, because with every compliment that you get like face to face, it could be coming from the heart, but it could also just be people sucking up or like just false pretense.
Okay. Then follow-up question, what's the compliment you got but you think that's actually an insult for you?
Very good for your age.
Very what?
Very good for your age.
Did I say that?
No,
Okay.
you did. I mean, no.
I'm just recording too.
It's a difference when like the 99% of the times it's a compliment, which there's not a lot of better compliments, because like it's like, okay, I'm young but I've really accomplished something. And like if people say it the right way, like if you said it, I know you would say it in the right way because you're a good person, and you'd be like, yeah, good, like really, you're really far for your age. But sometimes when I worked for this company in Egypt for just like 1 or 2 months, like doing reach outs for them. And after we were done, they were like, yeah, you did a good job. But it was like, good job for your age. But yeah, we're looking for something more like this and that, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, good job, but like, it's just your age keeping you back, kind of.
I know, stuff. Like, to be honest, age is it's just state of mind, you know?
Yeah.
And it's about experience,
but
not about your age.
You wouldn't have an idea how many times I get into calls, 30, 40 minutes pitching. They're like, oh my God, I love this. We've never seen this before. Yeah. Wait, by the way, how old are you? Just turned 19. Sorry.
No way. Oh my God. See, you gotta build your own. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
exactly. Okay, so what's one question you wish I could, ask you, and then how would you answer it?
Not really any question. Maybe just going a little bit deeper into like entrepreneurship as somebody who's still young, because I'd really want to inspire people out there to keep pushing through hard times, because doing your own thing at a young age, it's at first you're gonna have to deal with teachers, people in school literally like clowning you for it. I would sometimes get to school and it would literally be teachers like making fun of me doing social media, like being like, oh yeah, the TikTok kids here right now.
Really?
Stuff like that. Like, yeah, where first when I was like, yeah, people talk about, yeah, my teacher never believed in me. I'd be like, yeah, you're talking smack. But it happened to me and I'm like, I never really cared for it, because in my opinion, teachers are not somebody I need like to have respect from. But like just stuff like you just really have to handle it the right way. But also right now for me after school, all my friends are going to uni here in Munich. They're starting a job. They're doing training. They're going somewhere, and it feels like I'm so lonely, like on my own journey.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing something nobody else is doing. I'm just pushing through my social media thing, while people are doing around me like what's considered normal things, like the normal way, going to college, starting training. So just you have to accept that if you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish, you have to live with not being one of the many. And if everybody goes right, sometimes you have to go left, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're taking a wrong turn.
Yeah, I think that is pretty mature too. That is pretty mature.
Yeah, sometimes people tell me I like talk way too mature for my age, but there's when I'm not in front of a camera, there's also like the goofy side that can come out. So I'm not always mature like this. Yeah.
Okay, do you think that is a compliment or insult?
That I'm like mature?
Yeah. At your age.
Usually it's a compliment.
Okay.
If somebody like, actually no, I would say it's always a compliment, because if people my age say it, they usually say it out of respect. They're like, oh yeah, damn, you're like really independent, like mature for your age. And if somebody who's like really, or like who's older than me says it, then I also take it as like a compliment, because they've been through more than me. They've got more experience, and for them to say I'm far from my age, it's a big compliment.
Great. Okay, so if there's one book you would recommend for everybody to read, what would that be?
Honestly, I'm not a book guy at all.
Really?
Personally, I you know Blinkist?
Yeah.
Which is like the 15 minutes summary of books, I think is sometimes could be even better than just reading the entire thing. But one book I've read when I was like 15, 16, that has helped me a lot is called Psychology, the Art of Persuasion by Cialdini, I believe. That has really helped me, because it teaches you how to talk to people, to lead them in the way you want, I guess. But also read when somebody is trying to like subconsciously manipulate you. Sometimes there's people talking to you in a certain way, where only after reading this book I realize, okay, they're just talking to me in this way because they're preparing me for something they want to sell me, or they're like leading up to something. So it's a great book if you want to realize what people are basically saying in between the lines when they're talking.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, next question for my very good friend Jenny, because I know she would definitely ask it. So what's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aries, I believe it's called in English.
You're Aries? Jenny is also Aries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm my birthday is the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, so you can research if that's actually an Aries, but I believe, I know it's Widder in German. I just, when I was in the US, they told me it's Aries, I'm pretty sure, but I have no idea how you can, if that means I have some kind of trait or whatever, but...
No, I can see some similarities between you and Jenny. So.
Do you believe in like zodiac signs having an influence on what kind of person you are?
I believe in statistics. So for me, it's science, you know?
Okay.
Like there must be some certain pattern happening. But of course, maybe somebody just read about, okay, if I'm Leo, and then I will be this and that, you know?
They start doing it because of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't care if people are like, as you said, that makes sense. If there's a certain group and the statistic says most of them are this way, maybe there is something. The only thing that pisses me off is people that are like, oh, you're an Aries? Oh, we don't match. I'm sorry. Like, we can't be. Like, that kind of stuff is just ridiculous.
It happen in dating life or day-to-day life?
No comment, but yeah. But yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, last one. How can listeners find you? And actually, let's do probably in the future entrepreneurship too, because I think it's really good one. We cover crypto already a lot, and then just next one.
So on Instagram it's at Jay Iverson. On TikTok it's at investment_updates. I mean, I never know like what kind of project I'm going into next. So it could be in 2 years. Those are not my channels anymore, and I'm diving into a different business. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure for the coming time you'll reach me there. Just shoot me a DM if there's anything interesting. And there's also, I've got my mail linked in my account, my Telegram, so you'll definitely find a way to reach me.
LinkedIn too. Okay.
And I don't have a manager or anything, so you will talk to me and not some bot or anything. Yeah.
Wow, impressive. Okay, then I will just put all the links also down below in this podcast. Make sure you follow Jay. and then follow his journey as well. Maybe you'll be the next, I don't know, 10x investment, but not financial advice. Okay, thank you guys, and thank you, Jay, for being here.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.